Yes people, what is going on? So today I'm going to show you a full training session that is specifically focusing on ball mastery. Being able to effectively move and manipulate the ball is so important for football because it will buy us more time on the ball and therefore we'll be able to make better decisions with it. But yeah, that's enough talk from me. Let's get on with the warm up and let's get on with the session. Bosh.
So before I start any of my training sessions, I perform a dynamic warm-up. It's essential before any training session to perform a dynamic warm-up as it gets our bodies prepared for the session ahead. Not only can a dynamic warm-up reduce the risk of injury, but a dynamic warm-up can also improve our performance. So with this dynamic warm-up, set a starting point and place a cone approximately 5 meters away from you and start off with a few jogs back and forth around the cone. After you've performed a couple of jogs, start to incorporate some dynamic stretches into your warm-up. With the dynamic stretches, focus on muscle groups that you'll be working on throughout the session. It's also important to remember that this is the warm-up, so gradually increase the range of motion in those dynamic stretches as we don't want to get injured before the session has even started. After I've gone a few minutes going back and forth from one cone to the other and forming those dynamic stretches, I tend to just give myself around 30 seconds to a minute to dynamically stretch any muscles that feel tight. So I tend to get tight hamstrings on both my legs, so always just give myself a bit of time to do some straight leg kicks and ensure they have good range of motion and that they're ready to go. If you have other muscle groups that feel tight, then this is the period to get them stretched out. After making sure I've stretched the muscles that I'll be working on throughout the session and that they're warm, I look to increase the intensity. So this is still part of our warm-up and gets our bodies used to working on those fast twitch muscle fibres. For this part of the session, I perform 5 quick feet and explosive exercises, followed by a short acceleration to improve my speed and power. Look to perform 2 sets of each exercise in the video. So following the 5 explosive and quick feet exercises, it's now time to get the ball out and work on our ball mastery. So the first ball related training that I'm going to do is to perform some dynamic ball mastery exercises. Dynamic ball mastery exercises are great for getting loads of touches on the ball within a tight area. They're also great for working on moving and manipulating the ball in tight spaces with different parts of your foot whilst also on the move. Look to set up a channel that is 2 meters wide and 5 meters long. Look to also perform 2 sets of each of the 5 exercises in the video. The first drill we're going to be performing is the Ronaldinho Box Drill. Ronaldinho is famous for his ability to move the ball quickly in tight spaces whilst maintaining close control. The ability to have close control whilst dribbling with the ball will create opportunities to exploit the opposition, whether that is to shoot or pass the ball. This skill will make defenders hesitate and make irrational decisions due to them constantly having to shift their body weight. For this drill, look to have a 2 by 2 meter square with multiple cones or objects placed randomly within that square. Look to perform 4 sets of this drill. 1 set should be 30 seconds worth of dribbling. Remember to use both feet throughout as well as different parts of your foot. The second drill we're going to be performing is the Zig Zag Weave. This drill is a great drill for working on moving and manipulating the ball whilst changing direction with it. The cone weaving is great for working on close control and ball mastery, whilst the zigzag adds the element of changing direction with the ball, which is much more match realistic as we rarely ever just dribble in straight lines. For this drill, look to place 2 cones approximately 8 meters away from one another as starting and end points. Look to set up 4 cone weaves, with each cone weave being 2 meters opposite the previous one. The cone weave should consist of 3 cones or obstacles. For this drill, you should begin on one of the 2 end points before dribbling towards the nearest cone weave. Look to perform 4 sets of this drill, with 1 set being 1 complete lap of the setup. drill we're going to be performing is the gated dribbling drill. When in possession of the ball, we will constantly face bar obstacles. It is important that if you're going to run with the ball, that you're able to keep close control whilst moving the ball in different directions. Gated dribbling is a great drill that focuses on keeping close control whilst running with the ball. The gates placed in the setup force you to move and manipulate the ball in different directions. Look to place 2 endpoints that are approximately 8 metres away from one another. Look to randomly place 8 gates down within the 2 endpoints that are approximately 1 metre away from one another. Look to perform 4 sets of this drill. 1 set is when you dribble to the end and return back to the start. The fourth and final drill that we're going to be performing is the Freestyle to Minecraft drill. For this drill, try to be creative throughout. Use different parts of your foot, work on moving and manipulating the ball in different directions, try to use different skills. Essentially for this drill, you want to be as creative as you possibly can be. This is a great drill for working on all those skills that you've just been performing in the previous drills. The freestyle element in this drill should only last for around 5 seconds after you've entered the square. Look to set up 2 squares that are approximately 8 metres away from one another. Each square should be approximately 2 metres by 2 metres in size. Within the space between the 2 squares, look to randomly place multiple cones or objects on the floor. Look to perform 4 sets of this drill. Each set is 4 dribbles.
So that's the full session that is specifically focusing on our ball mastery. As you can see, a lot of touches on the ball, and it's a very good session for working on our technique. But yeah, like I said beforehand, it's important to be able to effectively move and manipulate the ball in order to buy more time on it and therefore make better decisions with it. But yeah, that's enough talk from me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. But until next time, box.